Hello everyone, this is Everwoman6 here, bringing you another cast today. This one is a relatively mid-ranking ladder match on Vya-3 Protectorate. Let's introduce our players first. Down here on the blue side we have Growth, or Groth. I'm going to go with Growth, who is going first land, P-Gens, second air. And on the north side we have Red-Eye 99, who is quite appropriately going red. He is Seraphim, and he is going first land, P-Gens, Mask Extractors. Alright, so those are the players. Let's speed up a bit so that we can let them do their build orders. So a couple points about this map. Some people don't like this map too much. I personally don't mind it, but it has a lot of lanes. You have about 4 lanes in the middle, coming from in between both bases. You generally don't want to go through the middle unless you want to spend the resources to defeat all the civilians in here to claim all these extractors. Generally, what you'll see is we have players coming around each side, expanding and fighting here in the middle over all these extractors. Let's take a look at their opening build orders first. See, Groth has gone first land, but he's building a bunch of P-Gens, and he hasn't built the rest of his opening mexes yet, but he is reclaiming all these with your engineers. This map does have quite a lot of reclaim, and all of these walls all over the map, they're all filled with rocks, which you can pick up pretty easily if you know how to control your engineer reclaim. In the meantime, Red-Eye has gotten his extractors down both in his main base and these expansion engineers, which Groth has not done yet. But he isn't reclaiming quite as much. He is reclaiming, but he's mainly reclaiming these trees back here, which kind of give you a lot of power instead of mass. Alright, so Groth is opening up. He's sending out his mech marines. Let's see where they're going. They're going to be trying to stop his engineers from Red-Eye's engineers from building these 4 mechs on either side. You see the other mech marine is doing the same thing. Red-Eye is going to be sending THAMs out to protect his engineers that are going out and doing this expansion, since the Seraphim does not have any labs. They only have the Selen, the combat scout, which will lose the labs, but it will defeat other faction scouts. They also have gone air relatively early. Red-Eye has a scout out, and Groth also has a bomber out first. I thought he went, yeah, he has a scout out and a bomber. So see how they do that. If they can get some of the opening engineers, since the engineers have to spread out a lot in this map, if you can get some of them with the opening bomber, it can really help your game out quite a lot. Red-Eye already has his scout over Growth's base, so we will have some intel over what Growth is doing, so he can see the land factory and the air factory, and you can guess that this is probably another air factory here since he's surrounded with P-Gens. Meanwhile, Groth is doing the exact same thing over here, so each player is going to be have vision over the base, and they are going to know what's going on. Red-Eye's bomber here is going to go after this Snoop, and see it just destroyed it there. If that's all he kills, that bomber isn't going to be worth it. But if he can keep it alive and continue killing things, then it'll do better. That bomb just went out of nowhere. These 3 strikers are going to be killing this THAM right there. Meanwhile, the interceptor from Growth is going to be taking out this bomber, so that's not going to be doing too much more damage unless he wants to go. Nope, there he goes. As you can see, looks like that Groth is going to be ramping up the production around this base, especially around this extractor, and he does also have these bases around here, so he's getting the maximum massage agency as he can here. Meanwhile, Groth is kind of distributing his production. He has a factory going down here, and he has two more factories planned here, and a third one going down that the engineer's already building. And he's also kind of pushing further along all, not 4 lanes, but he's pushing on 3 lanes. He has this THAM going on here, and he's already trying to counter Growth, trying to expand here. As you notice, Red-Eye does have a bit of a eco advantage, since he did expand a little bit more quickly, and he does have these mexes over here, and he's taking this territory. Meanwhile, he's pushing Growth at his natural expansions and keeping him from taking it. It looks like Growth does have a really strong force here, so he's going to be able to push these THAMs back. Maybe take this, and he is, but to make up for his loss of eco, Growth is reclaiming quite a lot. He's taking all the rocks, or he's just completely stripped bare all the rocks around this ledge, whereas the rocks are still present here on Red-Eye's side. So Red-Eye is doing more to generate his to improve his generated eco, while Groth is relying on his reclaim to supplement his income, and he does have more total mass despite having less income. And it is going to, and you can see how he's being able to afford all of these units, even though Red Eye has a more of an eco. And see both players. You see Red Eye is still mass selling, while Growth still has a lot of mass in the bank. He needs to spend it, otherwise it isn't worth very much. But he is making up for his lack of generating economy with the reclaim. Growth is going to be pushing one of his expeditionary force up here. Red Eye is trying to claim these extractors at all, but these strikers are going to just absolutely wreck that engineer and these extractors. Meanwhile, Red Eye is charging forward, kind of in a not really a coherent pattern, kind of like a stream. It's not going to do very well against this clump of units, but it does have the wrong face. It's kind of facing this way as if it's anticipating a strike from that way. Meanwhile, Red Eye's commander is up here, so that's going to be a lot of extra firepower that he's going to be able to bring to bear against this force if he needs to defend this point. Meanwhile, there's another huge battle going here, Thans versus Strikers, and it looks like that Red Eye is going to get the advantage here. He had a slight better, he kind of flanked the army a bit, which kind of let him put a lot of firepower on a few tanks simultaneously to destroy them. Meanwhile, his tanks, some of them are damaged, but not a lot of them got killed. And he is going to do the same thing, just pull up here and destroy. So that was a large force from Growth that just destroyed. Meanwhile, Growth is pushing up here with this force. You're probably going to try to kill these factories, but Red Eye's commander is here, and he is going to be able to hold this area, especially with all these reinforcements coming up from Red Eye's expansion here. Meanwhile, Red Eye does have all these units that are going to hit Growth's units in the rear, going to cut off his reinforcements if Growth tries to stream units in. And it looks like that Growth's commander is just going to pick off all of these units individually. Yep, so there's the army. The remnants of those army were destroyed, and meanwhile, Red Eye has lined up his army here. He has a nice broad face facing Growth's very condensed face. So if he attacks, he would have had a little bit of advantage. And it looks like Growth is going to attack it now, and it is going to force Red Eye to kind of move, not necessarily a retreat, but he is moving to counter Growth to keep him from outflanking his units. Looks like that now up on the north side, Red Eye's kind of in the opposite situation now. Now his units are being pinned against a wall, and now his units are being going to be annihilated on this force. There's another little force from Growth is going to try to attack, but it's going to be destroyed. Growth does have a force up here that kind of cleared out this lane for him, and Red Eye, meanwhile, on the other external lane is going to be claiming all the distractors. So that'll be a slightly more eco for him. Red Eye still does have his eco advantage a little bit since he does have a lot more map control. But Growth, they're still relatively even on mass. They're probably they're not exactly even because it's rounds, but they're kind of, but they're relatively even enough because of all the reclaim that Growth is doing. Meanwhile, Red Eye is going to be personally charging with his commander and leading all of his units. He does have T2, so that's where a lot of his mass went. He developed this T2 factory, and it's just pouring out Ilshavos from it. So that'll give him a huge advantage here if he can get those T2 units to the front if Growth doesn't have any. Meanwhile, he is going to be sending a little force to take out take out Growth's little blockading force in the rear. And now Red Eye is going to, on the north side, he is going to be charging directly into one of Growth's primary production facilities. If he takes this out, we'll be able to cripple a lot of Growth's eco here. And it looks like that Red Eye did put gun on his commander. There's an overcharge. He does have overcharge too. So it's a gun overcharge commander. It's going to be a real force to reckon with, and he has superior units and superior tech. We'll see if Growth can do anything about this. Meanwhile, Growth is going to be sensing the opportunity. He's going to be charging on the other side, especially with all these engineers coming to reclaim all these trees. Those are just going to be slaughtered. But his situation on the other side is not looking good as Red Eye keeps pushing forward. He's pushing all these units forward further, and Growth is pushing back. It looks like we do have a pillar, so he does have T2 down here. And he does have 3 T2 pigeons. He doesn't have any, so he looks like he put, Growth put T2 on his comm. As I could see it on the arm. So he has 3 pigeons, while Red Eye he was power slowing, but he doesn't have any. But apparently he's fine now. And he has, looks like that Red Eye is going to be attacking, trying to take out this production center now, but it looks like that this clump of units and the pillars in here are going to be pushing him back, and now he's being attacked by Janus's. Growth does have T2 land, not T2 air. Looks like Red Eye does have his T2 land over here, and it's going to be kind of pushing this force back. Now Red Eye is going to be pushing forward again with his Ilshavas, but the Ilshavas their strength is in long range. And when he pushes them up right here, then all this T1 can overwhelm it, especially with the Janus bombers dropping napalm on them. But all the Ilshavas are dead now. And yet, here's Red Eye's commander. He's still charging forward. He does have that gun commander, but he doesn't have any units to back him up yet. He has some coming back here. But he, just took a Janus shot to the face. And now all the strikers and pillars are focus firing on his commander. He does have two units of veterancy, so he does have a quite healthy bit of regen on his commander. But they're still chipping away at his health. Another Janus is dropping down. Now he's now the interceptors are doing battle over the commander. It looks like that growth is going to win air superiority, and the Januses and T1 bombers are going to still drop napalm on him. He's about 3/5 health, and he's still got units on him. He's got a bunch of units up here that he can bring down. I don't know whether he's just focused on his commander, but these units up here, they can be brought down. It looks like that the Januses are still dropping napalm on him, and it looks like he's marginally better than he was before. But now with that napalm, he's just gone a little further. Now the Janus just dropped a bunch of napalm on him, and he's just walked right into it. And so now he's about 2/5 health. He's still got units on him. He's got all these Lobos that can do a whole bunch of DPS if they hit his commander. And he's still got even more Janus bombers now. He's got Ilshavas down here. They're blocking the reinforcements, but it looks like that Red Eye's down at 50,000 health, 9,000, 3,000, 300, 100. Now the Stingers are coming to the coup de grace to kill his commander. Fuck you. He's not happy about that at all. So noob shit. So yeah, it can be frustrating. Like he did have a map advantage. He did have the map advantage. He did have the econ advantage. But you know, when you push for your commander this far, you're basically betting that you're going to win there, or you're going to sacrifice your commander and lose. So he did, like he said, he did have this huge force right here that he could have brought down and probably saved his commander with. He probably just either he was so focused on his commander they didn't think to do that, or he didn't even know they were there. Looks like he also allowed this force to coalesce with growth, which could have pushed forward and destroyed these Ilshavas, if I remember correctly. All right, so that was a good game. I thought it was pretty funny when I watched it, so I thought I'd bring it to you. All right, so that's it for today. It's kind of a short one, but you know, sometimes that's all right. So that's it from me today, and Everyone with 6 signing out.